Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello and welcome back to the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 League on the Xbox platform. This week we're at Silverstone for round 10 of season 16 and the British Grand Prix. My name is Justin and joining me once again, it's Andy. Oh, you're muted up, Andy, still. Oh, well, we'll get to Andy in a minute. There he is, there's Andy.
False start there, false start to the Grand Prix weekend. Well, that was not the greatest way to get started. But yes, I am here. Apologies, folks. But yes, the British Grand Prix, the home of British motorsport, the home of Formula One, some might say, the Silverstone circuit, one of the classics from the F1 calendar, alongside the likes of Monza, Spa, Suzuka as well. So this will be another cracking race for sure. Can Evo continue his dominant run of form in this season? Only twice off the top step in China and in Monaco. And the other question is, Justin, can Veloci Surprise stop the run of either non-score or finishing second? Because it's some streak, isn't it?
That's right, yeah, our top two guys here in the Xbox One F1 League, Evo either finishes first or third in every single race he's been in, and Surprise either finishes second or scores no points whatsoever. So that's what we're heading into for the British Grand Prix. Last time out at Austria, it was a third win in a row for Evo. He actually picked up 2 wins, then a third, then 2 wins, then a third, but now he's got 3 wins in a row. Our tire compounds available for this weekend are going to be the soft, the medium, and the hard. So I don't. Is this the first time we're seeing the hard compound tires? I think it might be, if memory serves me correct. Track records though: pole time from Marcel Kiefer with a 1:26.1, and the fastest race time from Brendan Lee with 39 minutes and 32.5 seconds. And I imagine both of those are going to get absolutely annihilated today across all platforms as well, too. I heard it was an incredible race on the PlayStation 4 platform. If you guys didn't check that out, make sure you can tune in, watch it back on another time. We've got 3 DRS zones on the start-finish straight, and also 2 other ones as well, too, on the run down towards Stowe and on the hangar straight as well. The action zone heading into Vale there. You can see Berezne versus Sorensen, and that is what the track looks like. But let's have a look at a hot lap with Nick Alclack.
Let's join PC Split 1 driver Wycombs as we go on a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, coming across the start-finish line to begin our lap as we go over to the left-hand side before going to the flat-out turn 1 and turn 2 of Abbey and the farm curve. Braking just after the 100-metre board then for turn 3 at Village, then getting the car over to the right-hand side to open up the space for turn 4 of the loop. Then a tricky traction zone as we accelerate up through the gears. Turn 5 at Aintree Corner. And now we put the DRS on for the first time in this lap as we go down the Wellington Straight. Braking at the 50-metre board then as we go, sliding the car in to turn 6 at Brooklands, and then the late apex of turn 7, the long turn 7 of Luffield, using as much curb on the left-hand side as we accelerate through the slight right of turn 8 here at Woodcote, through the old pit straight when we had the old bridge layout, and then we go through the flat-out turn 9 of Cops Corner, not running too wide there out of the corner. And now going through the famous turns 10, 11 and 12 complex of Maggots, Beckett, and Chapel Corner. And now we accelerate down, DRS for the second time as we go down the hangar straight underneath the game sign there. And now we prepare ourselves for turn 13 of Stowe. A long corner, making sure we get a nice apex there and not running too wide once again on that curb on the left-hand side. And now we break in between the 150-metre boards for turn 14 of Vale. And now we come through turn 15, Club Corner for the final time. And that completes a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit.
So that is a lap of Silverstone. Again, thanks to Nick Alclack for that one. And let's get on board with the cars here. Qualifying has just started, just under 14 minutes to go. Let me get it up on your screens here so you guys can enjoy seeing these cars go around this absolutely historic circuit, I imagine. I mean, of course, Andy, this is the home race for a lot of the drivers. In fact, the vast majority of the drivers in this league. So I imagine they're going to be pushed that little bit harder today.
Well, AOR was initially a sort of UK-based league. The majority of people in AOR generally are from, of course, the UK. Obviously, now we're starting to branch out elsewhere. We've got the league in America, the league in Oceania, which is absolutely fantastic alongside these European leagues. But yeah, the majority of them are from here, and yeah, it really is a fantastic circuit, isn't it? Cracking corners like Maggots, Beckett's, the high-speed right-hander of Cops. It really is going to be a fantastic race with 3 DRS zones as well, Justin. Going down the Hanger Straight into the braking zone for Stowe. There'll be overtaking in the race there. Down into Brooklands as well at the end of the Wellington Straight. So all the ingredients point towards a fine weekend. And it is, of course, as you mentioned earlier, Justin, the first time we see the hard tyre over the course of the whole season. I think it is actually the only time we're going to see the hard tyre over the course of the whole season. And whether anybody actually chooses to use it, I highly doubt it, because what we have got is a dry weekend. I've been speaking to the drivers. They've told me that it's going to be a dry weekend, dry qualifying, dry race, and I would expect the majority will go softs to the medium. That will be the strategy for those guys inside the top 10, I think, Justin.
Good to hear. Yep, always good info to get some weather reports, and it looks like it is going to stay like this for the rest of the weekend. We are on board with Leopard at the moment. The Ferrari driver has had a pretty good season, you have to say, and he's coming to the end of the lap now. Some of the some of the viewers that were paying a little bit more attention earlier may have heard me mix up my Wellington and Hanger Straights, but I promise I will try not to do that again. And it is going to be second quickest, actually, for LCR Leopard. At the moment, VSR Simon quickest into the 125s with the 125.6. The top 5 all dipping into the 125s. Lots of cars in the pits at the moment as the initial runs have already been completed, but it is Simon, Leopard, Pinecone again featuring near the top of the timing sheets with his teammate Jason97 F1 right behind him. Keep in mind, Pinecone and Jason finished in 3rd and 4th in Austria. A fantastic result for the Haas F1 team. We currently have Evo sitting in 5th position. However, I would not expect him to stay there. And then OMG, it's Joe, the leading Force India as it stands right now. MVP Zero, who was one of the big talking points actually in Austria. I was watching back the highlight video. I don't know if you watched those too, Andy, but some of those overtakes from MVP Zero, some of the side-by-side action we saw in Austria was truly incredible. Really great stuff.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race in Austria. Again, it was like quite a few of the races at the start of this European season, but like we saw in France at the end of that race as well, it's really difficult to break the DRS, and you can really start dicing with other cars. I mean, Germany as well coming up, that's another racetrack where the DRS is so powerful and it creates close racing. And if, as I said, as Justin mentioned earlier, if you watch the PS4 race later on tonight, after this, you'll see just what I mean, how closely compact so many drivers are. But yeah, Zero, he was excellent last week, really getting excited, getting himself involved and coming home in P7. But you're right to mention those Haas guys, Justin, 3rd and 4th last week and 3rd and 4th so far in qualifying again. They really are starting to up their game, aren't they?
Yeah, looking very strong, you have to say, and consistent as well, too, which is really what you want to see, because, you know, the most consistent drivers are always going to be the most successful, unless, of course, you're consistently outside the top 10. But we are having a look at MVP Zero's teammate, Team Vodka Shot. It looks like he's going to be finishing this lap now. He's one of only 4 drivers not to set a lap time just yet. Zelchi in the Renault, Matt 212 in the Williams, and Surprise in the Mercedes yet to set times. However, they are all out on outlaps now, and it looks like Team Vodka Shot actually just starting his hot lap at the moment, so we can go on board with him, since again a lot of people just coming out for sort of their second runs with about 9.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session for round 10 of Apex Online Racing Season 16. And it's been an incredible season. I've really enjoyed every single race we've had so far. But again, I just really need to emphasize, for those of you that maybe haven't been following for the entire season or have forgotten, CRG Evo currently sitting on 205 points. Velace Surprise sitting on 108. So that is a 97-point deficit that we have currently between Evo and Surprise, which is pretty massive.
It's incredible. Evo in 9 races has dropped 20 points. I mean, that is just ridiculous. 10 points dropped in China and 10 points dropped in Monaco, 2 third places. It really is incredible. The robot that he is, and he very rarely picks up time penalties. I know that's not always been the case this season. He has picked up a few in races and been a bit disappointed with his driving at times. I think in China in particular, he was really unhappy with himself, but he really is on fire this season, a cut above. But the big question is, when will Veloci Surprise pick up that maiden victory? Surely it's got to come soon. Simon, of course, has picked up one, and we should mention that P1 Brown even managed to pick up a victory back in Monaco as well, and that was a big shock to the system, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As Vodka Shot does complete his lap, moves himself into the top 10 in 8th position, actually directly behind his teammate MVP 0, so that's a solid lap time from the McLaren driver. And let's see if we can find somebody else. Let's go with CRG Evo, since he is the championship leader. He's the one that we've been talking about. Again, so calm and calculated for the vast majority of the season. As Andy alluded to, China not his greatest moment, not his best result for sure. He was really disappointed in his performance there, causing some issues. There was some. It wasn't just mistakes that affected him, but he had some mistakes that affected other drivers as well, and he really did not let himself off with that one. 7.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Evo making his way into Vale and into Club and finishing the lap now. And let's see if he is going to better it. Yes, he does. It's a 1:25.7. Not quite good enough for fastest, though. He's about 0.03 of a second slower than the Red Bull of VSR Simon, slotting in just ahead of his teammate LCR Leopard. P1R Brown moves up into 4th position. The Monaco race winner, don't forget, was P1R Brown. And there goes VSR Simon with a 1:25.5. He finds another 10.5 or so there, Andy.
Yeah, surprise. Good effort from, Simon doing well there, but a surprise is coming around the final corner on his first lap of the session. And surprisingly, Justin only goes P8 with a 26.1. I don't know if he missed out on the first run or made a mistake, but maybe not feeling too confident out there at the moment. Surprise. He's failed to get a good time on the board. And Joe now has managed to split Simon and Evo. What a lap that is from the Force India driver to go up into P2. That's a great effort from OMG. It's Joe, and at the moment, he could be the star of qualifying, Justin. That's a fantastic effort, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great time, especially. And Joe had a terrible race last time out in Austria. Got involved in an accident between turns 1 and 2, and that was pretty much his race run. Got a DNF in Austria, so I imagine he is going to be extra motivated. He is, of course, one of the many drivers in this league that are enjoying the benefit of their home race. The drivers that are not, that this is not their home race for, are Evo, Simon, MVP 0, and Team Vodka Shot. And I think that's it. I believe every single other driver that we have for Split 1 of the Xbox platform is from the UK in one form or another. So we've got 15 times on the board now. Restev pretty far down. I have to say I'm a bit surprised by that one. He was showing really good pace in Austria. Really good battling techniques as well too from the Sauber driver. So I would expect him to probably move up a little bit, but it is currently Red Bull, Force India, Ferrari, and Ferrari that occupy the top 4. With just over 5 minutes remaining in this session. Lots of cars in the pits as they're preparing for their final runs now. We've got Leopard still out on track, Langman still out on track, but I believe they're going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Or is he actually? Yeah, Leopard just making his way through Luffield there. The corner that never ends is how I like to refer to Luffield, because it feels like you're just turning and turning and turning. And there you go. You're finally through the corner. And down the straight through Copse he goes. And it is an absolutely lovely circuit, this one, I have to say, even though I've never been there, of course, but it is a beautiful circuit. I love the black and white carving on it. I love the flowing nature of it as well, too. And it's just a classic. You know, you can't have a Formula One season without Silverstone. And it looks like Leopard is indeed coming to the end of that. Let's see, I think Matt212 might be on a hot lap at the moment. Yeah, it sure looks like he is, as he's making his way onto the Wellington straight now. Yeah, DRS is open, and his deployment is at full as well, too. So we'll see if Matt212 can put in a competitive time. It's been a difficult season, you have to say, for Matt. He's only scored points one time so far, and that was in Canada. But he did come home in 6th position, nearly a top 5 finish, but just had some rotten luck so far this season.
It's not gone great for Matt 212. I mean, the high of qualifying on pole back in China, if we remember, the big shock when he decided to qualify on a much softer tyre. We didn't believe at the time it was great for the race to go in the tyre, and it was proved right within 2 or 3 laps. They were falling off the cliff, those tyres. But yeah, got a 6th place back in Canada as we enter the second half of the season, or to approach the second half of the season, I should say. They'll be hoping for stronger results. I think we should just mention briefly this track with the tyre wear being much less, with the harder tyres being used. There is the option, if you do ruin your lap on the soft tyre, for you to go again on the same set. You can get away with it for the race. So we might see people, Justin, if they maybe make a wee lock-up, drop a couple of tenths on a lap, they'll just go again on that final run. So they might see 2 laps on the final run. Certainly one to watch. But at the moment, Simon on top, Joe second, and Evo third. Can Joe maintain that P2? That would be a stunning result if he can stay there. Interestingly, Restev, as you mentioned, Justin, not doing too well so far in this session. He has finished in the points in all 3 races he's competed in. Remember, a late joiner to the league in Canada. He was 7th, he was 8th in France, and 6th last time in Austria. So they're looking to continue that little point streak he's got going. So keep an eye on him in the closing minutes.
Yeah, Restev averaging 6 points per race out of the 3 races he's been to so far, which is really incredible. Again, especially for a newcomer to show up mid-season and just jump in and to be straight into the points consistently is definitely impressive. We don't really, I mean, he seems like a respectful driver. I haven't seen any horrible incidents from him or anything like that, but we don't really have a full view of what kind of driver he is just yet, so maybe he can make something happen from a little bit further down. It is rather tight in qualifying at the moment, less than a second separating all of the 15 drivers. Matt 212 in the end not actually setting a time, and it looks like actually Clone Troop is going to be backing out of this one if this was indeed a hot lap. So Clone Troop in the Toro Rosso is actually... Oh, okay, yeah, let's go with 0 as he's just making his way into Maggots. And, oh yeah, just flat out in 7th gear, dropping it down to 6th for Beckett's, down to 5th, and then back up into 6th for Chapel. DRS open for the McLaren driver, currently sitting in 10th position with 126.1. We'll see if he can improve that, move a little bit further up the road. Now just a minute and a half remaining in this session. We got all the drivers out except for Clone Troop, who again made a bit of a hash of that lap, I believe. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get back out. It doesn't look like it. So the rest of the 15 drivers, though, we'll see how they can fare. And MVP 0 actually shoots up into the top 5, also dipping into the 125s with the 125.8, just 2 thousandths slower than Leopard.
Great effort there from MVP 0. Maybe it shows that the track is really starting to ramp up quite a bit. So we'll need to keep an eye here and see how much these times drop. VSR Pinecone, Justin, he looks like he's coming towards the end of a lap at the moment. Remember, those Haas drivers were really prominent near the top of the timesheets at the start of this session in 3rd and 4th. They've now been relegated to 7th and 8th. But here goes Pinecone using all the racetrack and more as he heads down into Vale, locking up ever so slightly through the long right-hander of Club and round the final corner. Where is VSR Pinecone going to go? He crosses the line, and unfortunately for him, he stays P7. But behind him on the road is Joe, Justin. So here he comes round the final corner. Can he improve on that impressive 25.6? And quicker, and just about get within reach of Simon, but not enough to take what would be a shock pole.
Yeah, about half a tenth adrift of the Red Bull. Very, very close, but we've got some more drivers, of course. Looks like Evo is just starting his lap with less than 15 seconds remaining, so he might get the best of the track conditions. It is still VSR Simon sitting at the top of the timing sheets, though, as he's just making his way onto the Wellington straight now and activating that DRS. And Surprise has now shot up to the top of the timing tables with a 125.4. It goes a tenth quicker than Simon, but of course Simon is on a lap right now. He's into Sector 2. Looks like Restev did get into the top 10, but that is going to be his session completed. Zelchi as well in 12th position isn't going to be able to improve. EVR, what's that?
Evo in the final corner, Justin.
Yep,
yeah. He's on a lap coming to the line, so let's see what Evo can do. Oh, he goes 3rd, so there you go. Look how close that is between Simon, Evo and Joe. Well, what can Simon do, Justin? Take it away. This could be a thrilling finale. Can Simon knock Surprise back off top spot? We're going to find out. Jason goes 4th. Wow.
Wow, that is an incredible time from Jason. Jason is, of course, one of the biggest veterans of not just this league, but AOR in general. I think he's been a part of AOR for longer than I have at this point, and moves himself up onto the 2nd row of the grid, provisionally anyway so far. Simon into Vale now. Let's see what the Red Bull driver can do. It's a 125.5 as his previous time, a 125.4 to beat, and he does get a 25.4, but he's about 39 thousandths shy of that pole position. So Veloce Surprise picking up that pole as it stands right now. Joe...
Oh, no, Leopard.
Yeah.
He's on a slow one. Sorry, I thought Leopard was on a quick one. No, he's on a slow one, but I think that is it, Justin, for the session. But look how close the top 6 are. 2 tenths covering them. I mean, third to fifth, there's nothing between them. It's incredible. I think we could be in for a similar race to what we saw over on the PS4 side of things. 6 or 7 cars battling all the way to the flag. Brilliant.
I would not be, I would not have a problem with having a race like the PS4 side has had. That would be absolutely fantastic. I heard there was a lot of drivers battling for the lead, and that's exactly what we want to see. But it is the Mercedes of Veloce Surprise who sticks it on pole for his home race at Silverstone and the British Grand Prix for round 10 of Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 League on the Xbox platform for Season 16. He has yet to pick up a win so far. The only drivers with wins so far in this split are Evo, Simon, and actually Brown as well. P1R Brown with that win in Monaco. And there you can see the top 10 separated by less than 6 tenths of a second, less than 2 tenths for the top 5. But again, it is Surprise that will start on pole alongside Simon. Then comes Evo alongside Jason on the second row. Third row of the grid, OMG, it's Joe, P1R Brown. Then comes the other Ferrari of LCR Leopard, MVP 0, the leading McLaren for this race from the 4th row of the grid. Then comes Pinecone a bit further down in 9th position. Restev in 10th. EVR Reynolds and Langman on row 6 as the front-running guys with free choice of tires as we prepare to go to the grid now. And then we will have the formation lap. And then we will hopefully have one of the best races we have ever seen. I'm not piling the pressure on at all, but I'm really hyping myself up for this one. We'll have to wait and find out exactly what's going to happen here at Silverstone, but we are certainly expecting a good race, especially after a qualifying that close, Andy.
Yeah, that's probably the closest qualifying of the season, without doubt. That was absolutely enthralling how that finished up. I have to say, Jason, star of the show. What a fantastic effort from him to qualify P4, only a 10th off the top of the timing sheets. Could you imagine he found another 10th? We'd have fell off our seats in the commentary box up here if Jason had put it on pole position. A fantastic effort from him, and we're hearing it will be an all-dry race, just like it was an all-dry qualifying, so it's going to be a straight run from the soft tyre on to the medium for all these drivers in the top 10. We'll see what the guys outside the top 10 do, but the big question here is, can Veloce Surprise finally break the streak? He's on pole position. He's ahead of Simon. He's ahead of Evo. This has got to be his best chance yet, Justin, as they begin the formation lap.
Yeah, and of course, a couple of the times where we thought Surprise might have a chance of winning, he had an alternate strategy to Evo, where Evo started on a harder compound tires. That's what we saw in France. We saw a little bit of an alternate strategy in Austria as well, too, with very differing pit stop times. But really, what it came down to in Austria was the 3-second time penalty. Surprise was the first man across the line, the first man to see the checkered flag. But because of a 3-second time penalty he picked up in the race, that's what handed that win to CRG Evo. That gave him that 3 wins in a row. And of course, Evo is going to be is going to be looking to make that 4 in a row, because I mean he doesn't want to just give up the win. Maybe we'll end up seeing a Vettel Hamilton type situation where Evo wins in the UK and Surprise wins in Germany. So maybe we'll see something like that. But I have to say, at the moment, just on this formation lap, it's looking like Surprise and Simon are really eager to get going. Evo, not so much.
Yeah, well, Simon, another German in Simon too. He might even be the man to win here at Silverstone and spoil the British party. We'll keep an eye on that. Simon, of course, his next race in Germany is also his home Grand Prix, so that will be one to watch. But I think, Justin, your thoughts as we went for the formation lap are going to be absolutely right. This has got all the ingredients to be an AOR classic here at Silverstone as Veloci Surprise. Look at him now, holding up the pack, trying to play mind games, perhaps. Surprise. I don't know what he's thinking, but he slowed them right up for the end of the formation lap. So Surprise, Simon, Evo, the front three, the 3 guys that in any normal circumstance would expect to maybe break away. But given the session we've had with Jason, Joe and P1R Brown right in there, I'm not too sure they will, Justin, especially with how powerful the DRS is around here.
Yep, extremely close. We do have 6 different cars in the top 6, which is that's exactly what we like to see. 6 different teams representing in the first 3 rows of the grid. And looks like the last of the cars are just making their way to their grid spots now. I believe that's Vodka Shot, and there on the right we could see Matt 212 finding his grid spot as well, as we're preparing for the lights now. Engines revving, lights are coming on. We've got 4 lights, we've got 5 lights. And we're go for the British Grand Prix, and we're looking for a good start, of course, from Surprise. Is he going to be able to hold on to that lead? Yes, he does. Simon slots in just behind him. Not the best camera angle there, if I'm honest. And we've got Joe actually already moving up a spot ahead of Jason, and MVP Zero and Pinecone doing some battling as well. Let's see if we can have a little look. I'm going to go on board with Pinecone, actually, as they all scythe their way through Sector 1 at the start of the lap. Jason and Leopard now going side by side as they come onto the Wellington Straight. What's that?
Simon and Evo side by side as well. Justin on the run down towards the braking zone at Brooklands. Evo's on the inside of Simon. They're rubbing wheels, the Ferrari and the Red Bull. The 2 German drivers doing battle down at Luffield. Surprise holding firm in the lead, but Evo round the outside through Luffield, and still they go side by side. The Ferrari and the Red Bull flying through Woodkit and down towards Cops Corner, side by side. Close your eyes, folks, this could be crazy through there. And Evo still holding on round the outside. OMG's Joe has got a great front row seat of this, but Simon holds on. Evo runs wide, and through goes Joe. There was contact between them, no love lost between the 2 Germans, and Evo drops down into 5th place, and he's rubbing with his teammate, and off the road into a spin or a slide goes the LCR Leopard. Crazy stuff on the opening lap here at Silverstone.
Yeah, Leopard has dropped way, way down. He's already down to 13th position, coming under attack from Team Vodka Shot as well. It looks like OMG, it's Joe as well, still right onto the back of VSR Simon, MVP Zero, and P1R Brown as the Williams goes around the outside, actually, at Vale. Impressive stuff, grabs the position before the final corner at Club. P1R Brown regaining that 6th place position that he started in. And Joe, though, is the big winner, you have to say, in the top 10 anyway, at the start of that race, as he moves himself up into a podium position ahead of Evo after that contact with his teammate. MVP Zero, though, up the inside on P1R Brown. He'll have to do it around the outside now through the loop, and it looks like he might just about do it. They are still side by side through there as they come onto the Wellington Straight, and it looks like he's just about going to edge him out. No DRS active, of course, as we're only on lap 2 of this British Grand Prix, and it looks like Leopard now is going on to the attack on EVR Reynolds as well. He does gain a position back up into 12th for the other Ferrari driver. After that contact, that surprising contact with his teammate, we'll maybe get a word from one of the 2 Ferrari drivers after the race to find out exactly what happened there. It could have possibly just been a lag moment, but you have to say, after a lap and a half of racing here, Andy, the big surprise here is Surprise with a 2.3 second lead over Simon.
Incredible. It was really worked into the favour of Veloci Surprise, seeing Evo and Simon scrap on that opening lap. Whoa, we got a big moment for Restive as well here, Justin. He's way off the road, going through Chapel. Colin McRae, dirt rally style there, through Chapel Corner and rejoining the racetrack and dropping all the way down into 15th place. He just made huge progress, up 2 places from the start and into the top 10, where we've seen him finishing in so many races. Well, he's got a lot of work to do now, because he's dropped right down to near enough the tail of the field. But yeah, when Simon and Evo were going side by side, I almost started hiding behind the sofa, Justin. It was incredible, the action through Cops Corner, and then it carried on down into Maggotts and Beckett's, and in the end, Evo come off worse, and then Leopard even more worse when Evo and Leopard got really close. Incredible start to the race, really exciting, but as you say, Surprises stole a march early on.
Yeah, Leopard, though, already making up positions. We just missed an overtake on Zelchi in the Renault as well, so he moves himself already up into a points-paying position as Matt 212 and Team Vodka Shot now with the benefit of DRS, the Williams, and with the inside line, Restev as well following right behind. He's going to get past Team Vodka Shot as well. Yes, just about edges him out, moves himself up a position. Let's rejoin the battles a little bit further up ahead. Simon starting to stretch those legs, putting a little bit of distance between himself and the Force India of OMG. It's Joe behind him. It's still just under 1 second, though, and at the moment, it looks like MVP Zero could be the one that's now going onto the attack as he's straight onto the back of Jason 97 F1.
Zero on a charge, up 2 places from P8 on the grid, and really starting to get quite racy behind the back of Jason. It's a little bit spread out at the front at the moment because of the action we had in the opening couple of laps. Surprise 2.1 ahead of Simon at the moment. Joe keeping tabs on the back of Simon at the moment, but P1R Brown really looking racy. Sorry, I say MVP 0, not Brown. MVP 0 looking really racy behind the back of Jason 97 F1. A great qualifying from Jason, his best of the season by far. Only a 10th, of course, as we mentioned, off the pole position. Is MVP 0 going to be able to do anything about Jason as they go through that flat-out first corner of Abbey, then through Farm and down into Village? Is there going to be any way through? Ooh. As look at that, MVP 0 locking up there, nearly running into the back there of Jason as they now go through the loop section. The best places if you want to make a move on this track, down this DRS straight into Brooklands, or if you can't do it there, usually it tends to be down into Stowe at the end of the hangar straight. But at the moment, MVP 0 unable to make a move, and look at the train forming behind. You've got P1R Brown in there and VSR Pinecone all queuing up behind Jason at the moment.
Yep, Pinecone thinking about going around the outside at Luffield on P1R Brown, but that's not going to work. It does look like he's got the exit, though. He's got the measure of the Williams. He's got the inside line for Cops coming up ahead as well. Some battling in the back as well, too. But P1R Brown actually stays ahead of the Haas through Cops there, and not able to make any progress has Pinecone there. And he's going to have to sit back, of course, through the Beckett's and Chapel section, but then he'll get another opportunity on the rundown towards Stowe. He picks up a bit.
Simon. Simon's off! Oh! The wall, Justin! What happened there? I presume there must have been contact between him and Joe, or he's just lost it on his own, going through Chapel. But the German driver, Simon, who had some great pace, has gone out of the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone on lap 4 out of 26, and that looks like a heavy impact with the barrier halfway or just after the exit of Chapel, perhaps, going down that hangar straight. Looks like a sore one anyway.
Yeah, I think that's actually where that's exactly where it was. But Langman losing a position to LCR Leopard. Leopard going from 10th to 8th, kind of in rapid succession there. Due to the retirement of VSR Simon coming onto Chapel, out of Chapel, right around Chapel certainly is where that incident happened. But Langman not giving up just yet, actually. He's had a bit of an up and down season, has the Force India driver. He picks up the DRS on LCR Leopard. I'm trying to keep an eye on the gaps, too. It looks like MVP 0 is getting very, very close to the back of Jason 97 F1. And, in fact, Restev now going on the attack, getting past Matt 212 Gaming with the benefit of that DRS on the straight as well, too. So Restev now up into 12th position, started in 10th, dropped all the way down to 15th, now finds himself back into 12th. So it's been a fairly exciting race for the Sauber driver so far, and he can continue to focus on the drivers up ahead. He's less than a second adrift of the Mercedes of EVR Reynolds, so he can pick up the DRS coming on to the hangar straight as they make their way out of this extremely quick and twisty bit of the track. And it is still very, very close. In fact, now Zelchi is looking like he's very close to the back of the Force India of Langman. Great exit out of Chapel. Could see the Renault pull alongside as they make their way up the hill and into Stowe. But no, not quite enough room. Oh, very, very close between the two of them. And it looks like the Langman is going to have to go defensive. No, actually, he had the exit speed coming out of Stowe to stay ahead of the Renault for now. EVR Reynolds is following right behind on this train as well. Basically, we have a train with Leopard, and then we have a train with Jason at the moment. Evo is still right on the back of OMG It's Joe, who has now moved up into 2nd position after that incident with Simon. And there goes Reynolds up the inside on Zelchi. He's not going to quite make it there. Can he do it around the outside? No, Zelchi easily defends that position for now.
Yeah, great move as well there from Pinecone, unseen on the cameras, down the inside into the loop of all places. A fantastic move to dive up the inside of P1R Brown and up into P6. So yeah, some healthy battles going on, but Jason at the moment is becoming a bit of a truly train behind him as MVP 0, Pinecone and P1R Brown are all queuing up to make a move. But I'm just wondering what might have happened to Simon. He's either lost the car on the exit of Chapel or there was contact. I've had a look at Joe's car. I didn't see any damage for him. He was the closest car to him on the racetrack. So more likely than anything, Justin, he's probably just lost it on his own. So I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll hear from Simon at some point. He's always quite outspoken. Usually lets us know what's happened. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But lap 6 now out of 26. And surprise at the moment, on course to break the streak and get his first win of the season.
Yeah, you have to say it is looking very good for the homegrown hero, Veloce Surprise, with a nearly 4-second lead after just under 6 laps of racing. In fact, we are just about to start the 7th lap, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there it is now. So 6 laps of racing completed, and 4 seconds is the gap between Joe and Surprise. Evo still within DRS range of that Force India ahead of him after a difficult start to his British Grand Prix. He is trying to claw his way back Zelchi now picking up a 3-second time penalty. P1R Brown picked up a 3-second time penalty as well earlier on. Let's rejoin the Jason train if we can. What's that?
Yeah, he's right there. Yeah, I was just about to say to join that one because it looks like a fantastic battle.
Oh, yeah.
And here comes Zero at long last. He's going to get himself alongside the Haas driver. And as they go into the braking zone down at Brooklands, he sweeps through and up into the top 4. I have to say, just like you said earlier on, Justin, in qualifying about MVP Zero flying in Austria, he's putting on a show here once again here at Silverstone, up into the top 4. And the race is only 7 laps old. That's a gain of 4 places in 7 laps. Great driving from Zero, and he's dispatched both Haas drivers.
Yeah, he's actually made up the most positions in this race so far, going from 8th to 4th, so MVP Zero looking very strong. No penalties for him just yet. Again, only 2 penalties dished out so far as we're on lap 7 of this British Grand Prix. And we do have the 2 Haas cars actually running in rapid succession here. Jason being quickly followed by Pinecone. Jason losing a position since the start of this race. Pinecone gaining several actually after starting from 9th. And, Zelchi and Langman trading positions. Looks like a straightforward DRS overtake for the Renault as Langman gets relegated down into 10th position. Matt 212 making his way past Team Vodka Shot as well through Stowe. And it looks like we've got several side-by-side action moments going on heading into club. It looks like Restev and Reynolds, Langman and Zelchi all getting very, very close. We've got a number of cars into the pits as well, too. Joe, Evo, and Brown are all into the pits, so that's 3 drivers coming into the pits at the end of lap 7, so they'll be going for a 19-lap stint on whatever tires they're planning to go on to. But from what it sounded like, what you were saying earlier, Andy, that's probably going to be the mediums.
Yeah, everyone going on to the mediums. Just keeping an eye out there to see if Joe would stay ahead of Evo in the pits, and he did. So they'll rejoin the track in clean air. Joe about 16 seconds off the back of Team Vodka Shot. So a chance for those guys to try and cut the gap down to Surprise with an aggressive undercut. We'll see how it goes for them, but they rejoin the track, and I think Evo's been held up a little bit because he's 2.6 now off the back of Joe. So maybe the following car that came in behind Evo, because someone else came in, was it Brown? So maybe people like Brown has managed to hold Evo, and that's a real sucker punch for Evo. And to be honest, his chances of adding another win to his tally this season of 7 don't look too strong at the moment. So for CRG Evo, if he wants to get another victory. Pinecone and Jason, very, very close. And here he comes, side by side. Gunter Steiner, close your eyes. There you go. Right on the outside goes Pinecone. Easy manoeuvre up ahead of Jason. And actually, he's coming into the pit. So in comes Pinecone. And I'm sure those guys in that little group behind the battle will be in as well. And in comes Langman. In comes Restev as MVP Zero picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pits. And it has to be said, Justin, this is probably one of the toughest pit lanes to get the speed right. Because you come in at such a high speed, don't you?
Yeah, carrying so much speed through Stowe, going downhill as well, too. So you've got the gravity assistance as well. OMG, it's Joe, of course, one of the 3 drivers that already pitted as Matt 212, picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. Unfortunate for MVP Zero. I think every race except for China, even the ones where he's performed very well, he's had some sort of mistake such as that, which is just kind of holding him back. It's just these small mistakes that are really making all of the difference. But OMG's Joe is going to easily come out way ahead of MVP Zero, Pinecone as well, too. Let's switch over to Evo, though, because he's actually come out behind MVP Zero, and by a pretty significant margin as well, too. I don't think he's going to get the DRS here, Andy.
Yeah, and Pinecone is actually right behind him, so he's going to be having to look in his mirrors more than he is in front. And that hold that he got because of P1R Brown coming into the pits has really, really cost him. But thankfully for Evo, he might know, he might not, with his team radio, that he will know that the car in front maybe has a 3-second or 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pits in MVP Zero. But yeah, it's not going well. He's 4th on the road, or net 4th on the road after penalties P3, and he's also got Pinecone right behind him too. So it's been a scrappy race so far for Evo. That opening lap battle with Simon, he came off worse then. And yeah, it's not going well so far for either Ferrari. So let's see if Evo can fight back and find a way back ahead of Zero and defend hard from the attacking Pinecone behind. But into the pits, we've got a few more stops. Jason's in, Leopard's in, and Team Vodka Shot are the drivers to make the pit stop on lap 9. So in they come, and I'm pretty sure we'll see where they come back out. But Zelchi, Reynolds and Matt, they were the 3 guys that started the race on mediums, and I think they'll be going quite long into this Grand Prix, Justin.
Yeah, that is all of the soft runners that have come into the pits for this race. So the only people yet to come into the pits are those 3 that started on the medium tires, as Andy just mentioned. I'm on board with Pinecone at the moment because he is still very close to the back of Evo, and certainly he is going to be riding that high from the podium last time out in Austria, and feeling rather confident, you would assume, from the Haas driver, and he is within DRS range of the Ferrari. Unfortunately for him, Evo is also now within DRS range of MVP0. It only took 1 lap for him to get within that DRS range. Pinecone really not gaining any sort of massive ground. He does hold a much tighter line there through Brooklands, and gains a little bit of time on Evo. He's actually straight onto the back of the Ferrari, while Evo has lost time to MVP0, so that's a very rare mistake that we've seen from the championship leader CRG Evo, as he is now put right in front of VSR Pinecone. Let's switch over to P1R Brown, because he's really harassing the Haas of Jason97 F1 as well at the moment for what is essentially 6th position in this race after Reynolds, Zelchi, and Matt have come into the pits. The gap between Joe and Surprise really hasn't changed a massive amount. It's still right around 4 seconds, which is what we were seeing before the pit stops. Oh, Jason just closing the door a little bit there on P1R Brown. He had the DRS. He's got the inside line for Stowe, and Jason, it looked like, was going to close the door and then thought about it, and that's exactly the reason that I like Jason as a driver. I'm never shy about telling people that I like Jason as a driver. He realized at the last moment, oh crap, I'm about to do something wrong, and he fixed it.
Yeah, biased as ever, Justin. Disgraceful. Oh, good man. But I think Zelchi and Reynolds up front, by the way, they were having quite a scrap while all the chaos was going on back here. I think Zelchi's re-passed Reynolds. Reynolds had got past him at the head of the field, but Zelchi seems to have got himself back in front. But look here at Pinecone. He's right behind Evo. He's got the DRS open, and he's gaining as he goes down the Wellington Straight. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Oh! Yes, he is, on the inside of Evo, of all people. That was brave. That was risky, but somehow he doesn't run into the side of the Ferrari. That looked like it was going to end in tears. Pinecone, the youngster, taking it to Evo here as they go through the right-hander of Woodcote and down towards Cops Corner. We've already seen Evo go battling side by side here. We're going to see it again. Lap 11 here. Now at 26, and Pinecone and Evo are going at it for what is really going to be a net podium with the penalties that Zero's got in front, but somehow...
Oh!
And Pincone's got off the road, has he? Was
yeah,
that lag?
and straight into the wall. I'm not sure what has happened to VSR Pinecone. That might be some sort of... yeah, I think he had a controller disconnect there, Andy, and he's lost his entire front wing, and he's down into last place. That is so frustrating. And Zelchi as well having a problem. So that's now 4 retirements. We're only left with just 12 drivers remaining in this British Grand Prix. Oh, and Pinecone gets a 10-second time penalty. I think he'll probably have that one removed, because clearly, yeah, that's not his fault. You could see the poor Haas missing its entire front wing. Thankfully, though, Andy, he doesn't have too far to drive to get into the pits, but surely that's going to be him out of the points.
Race over, and if it was a controller disconnect, as you speculate, Justin, I think that's a really good shout, actually. That looked like it. I mean, I was wondering what it could have been otherwise. I mean, I was thinking, is it lag? Is he actually in the wall? Is it just not true? And he now picks up a 5-second stop. Okay, speedy in the pits. So yeah, I'm just glad that it is a controller disconnect. If that's what it was, didn't wipe out Evo from the Grand Prix. That would have been a real shame.
Right.
But thankfully, Evo was able to continue. It's a real shame though for Pinecone. He's been having a fantastic race. So a shame for him. He was taking it up to Evo, but unfortunately he is out. And Veloci Surprise still holding that gap at around 4 seconds, just under 4 seconds now, to OMG. It's Joe, who's definitely having his race of the season so far in what would be P2. Whether Zero holds on to P3 or not, we'll have to wait and see. With his time penalty for speeding in the pits, Evo looking good to take it from him. But Evo, in general, by his standards, not having a great race, is he? It's just not worked out for him this afternoon, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And Surprise at the moment looks good for a first win of the season. And I don't think Veloci Surprise is actually... he won last season, did he not? Surely. And I know Finn had his dominance and Evo won races, but did Veloci Surprise get a win last season?
He must have. I am struggling to remember, but I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, I think he has won in the Xbox One F1 split here on AOR. And I was about to say that we only have 2 cars within DRS range, and then P1R Brown fell out of DRS range, but only briefly, actually, from Jason97 F1. We'll see if he can claw some of that time back and get back onto the attack on that Haas up ahead, who is chasing after CRG Evo and maintaining that under 2 second gap pretty well, you have to say. Langman, though, and Restev, the 2 closest drivers on track, as they make their way onto the Wellington Straight. Now, Excuse me. Yeah, the Wellington Straight. I always mix them up. I'm so sorry about that. But battling for 9th position. Not able to get close enough onto the back of the Sauber as they make their way through Brooklands and Luffield, and still very close between the two of them. But the field really starting to spread out, so maybe we jinxed that when we said we wanted 6 cars battling for the win, but the field spreading out ever so slightly. Only 2 cars within DRS range here on lap 13.
Tell you what, Justin, thanks to the wonderful AOR website, I can go back and check season 15. Would you believe it? Surprise did not win a race last season. It was totally dominated by Finn, Evo in particular, and then a few wins for TOR Leopard as it was back then. He's now LCR Leopard, but there you go. Surprise at the moment. It would be a first ever win in AOR, and that is a shock. That is a major shock, isn't it?
As he sets the fastest lap of the race, though, with a 1:29.3, it is looking rather dominant. He extends his lead ever so slightly. It was around 4 seconds. Now it's about 4.2, 4.3. It's bouncing around ever so slightly. Joe is looking comfortably ahead of MVP Zero as it stands right now, even though Zero with those slightly fresher tires. Jason, though, and LCR Leopard with the freshest tires out of everybody in the top 10, so we could see them possibly becoming a threat later on in this race, as we are now past the halfway point of this British Grand Prix with 13 cars still running. And I have to say, kudos to Pinecone for continuing on. He's 47 seconds adrift of Matt 212, but he is not giving up. And it's going to be a dry race. We have no weather prediction for rain. It doesn't look like we're going to see any sort of precipitation for the British Grand Prix, but he's staying out there. He's continuing on. You never know. He might be able to pick up a point or two, and that could make all the difference at the end of the season when it comes to coming 3rd, 4th, whatever it might be. He's probably out of it for the win at this point, unless he really finds a huge amount of pace in the second half of this season, as we are now starting to we're getting very, very close to the second half of this 21 race season, as Team Vodka Shot gets a 3-second time penalty from 11th position, which really isn't going to affect him too much because he's got a 19-second gap between himself and the Williams of Matt 212. On board with Langman down the hangar straight, picking up the DRS. Just a whiff of that slipstream coming off of the Sauber as well, too, is going to allow him to close that gap down. Through Stowe they go as they descend the hill a little bit wide at the exit of Stowe for the Force India. Closing as they get into Vale and Club and finish up lap 14 and start lap 15. And Langman, again, really the only one that's on the attack at the moment. Although, actually, P1R Brown has closed back up to Jason 97 F1. I wasn't sure if he was going to get the DRS. And I'll tell you what, something else I just noticed here, Andy. Jason 97 F1 is closing in on Evo.
What? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's just not going well at all for Evo. I'm going to have a little look here and see if Evo has got any damage. I mean, he's been involved in a few scrapes, a few bumps, but I don't think so. I think he's just maybe not got the pace this afternoon. I don't know what's going on with Evo, but Jason 97 F1, as you've just said, on CRG Evo. I never thought we'd see the day. It's like that. It's no respect to Jason at all, by the way. It's a bit like when Sato passed Alonso in Canada. It was like, what? Are you kidding? But until the moment happens where Jason does go on and pass Evo, I'm not going to fall off my seat. But go on, Jason. Hats off to you. This is impressive. What a drive it's been. So quick in qualifying as well, Justin, as we mentioned. Only a 10th away. So maybe we shouldn't be surprised, given how good he was in qualifying. We know how consistent Jason can be. And as you mentioned earlier, he's so calm. He makes the right decisions all the time. And now, almost under 1 second. On the back of Evo. He's got 2 lap pressure tyres. He goes in to within a second and is now in DRS territory. Goodness gracious. Go on, Jason, my son. This is a very impressive drive.
Yeah, that would be some impressive stuff. I mean, I'd put that on my CV if I were him. Once overtook Evo, you know, something like that. We're on board, though, with Surprise, because he's actually going to get to make an overtake for the, I would assume, one and only time in this British Grand Prix, as he does breeze right past EVR Reynolds, his teammate, of course, not making that difficult for him on the Wellington Straight. So Reynolds moves down into second position here on lap 16, and I think Reynolds maybe even might be coming into the pits this lap, because I think a 10-lap stint on the softs at the end of the race, when you're light with fuel and there's rubber down on the circuit, I don't think that's impossible. So we might see Reynolds come into the pits at the end of this lap. And let's actually go see. Yeah, so he's going to come out probably just outside the top 10. I think behind Langman, maybe a little bit ahead of Team Vodka Shot, but he is going to be on fresh, soft tires as well. So we'll definitely keep an eye on EVR Reynolds and see what kind of progress he can make in the later stages of this race. Let's go back to the interval here, and I'll tell you what, let's go on board with Jason 97 F1, because he is the man to watch at the moment as he continues to close in ever closer to that Ferrari of CRG Evo. And there is Reynolds into the pits. As I predicted, he's going to do a 10-lap stint on those soft compound tires. Like I said, I expect he's probably going to come out in about 11th position. We'll see exactly how that goes for him. DRS open, though, on the start-finish straight for the Haas of Jason 97 F1. Can he close in any more on CRG Evo? It doesn't really look like it. And actually, not only has Jason gotten within DRS range of Evo, he's actually broken the DRS on P1R Brown. This might be the drive of his career. This is absolutely incredible stuff. He's essentially battling for... Oh, he's just outside of that 3-second range for MVP. No, it was 5 seconds for him. That's right, it's 5 seconds. So essentially, this is for 3rd position for Jason 97 F1, which would be huge for the Haas driver. Unfortunately, it hurts so bad to say this, but because Pinecone, of course, got the podium last time with Jason coming home in 4th, and I would love to see a result like that, but that unfortunate technical issue for Pinecone means he's probably not going to be picking up any points, and indeed, he has in fact been lapped at this stage, Andy.
Tell you what, right now, Justin, if Jason not only passes Evo and comes home on the podium to get the champagne, I will personally deliver the champagne to his front door. Honestly, this is incredible. And look at him, he's gaining on the back of Evo. 7-time race winner in 9 races, Evo. Not just anybody, he's on the charts here as Jason. What an impressive performance this is, as Surprise shows his superiority this afternoon with a brand new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Zero now smashes it.
Wow.
And Zero is closing in on OMG, it's Joe as well. I mean, see, to be honest, Zero's going quickly enough to maybe even hold on to that podium place. And if he can just push a little bit harder on the remaining 8 laps, we'll see how it goes. But surely getting another 2 seconds would really require these two to get really embroiled in a big battle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I tell you, P1R Brown still just tantalizingly outside of that DRS range on Jason 97 F1. However, he has been caught by LCR Leopard, who is possibly going to turn this into a 4-way battle, which that's exactly what Evo needs, now that I think about it. He needs Leopard to get in there, get ahead of Brown, and start harassing Jason, because, of course, if Leopard can start going side by side with Jason, that would give Evo that little bit of breathing space. Brown is the only one, I believe, out of those 4 with a time penalty as it stands right now, out of Evo, Jason, Brown, and Leopard. I don't think Leopard has one, and I... Okay, thank you. And I'm pretty certain Evo and Jason don't have any penalties. They are the least likely people, I would say, in this league to pick up any sort of penalties. Brown, though, losing a bit of time through Sector 2. It's now 1.5 seconds between the Williams and the Haas. Jason 97 F1 is closer than he's ever been. He is right underneath the gearbox of that Ferrari ahead of him. And as we come to the end of lap 18, and Surprise, they're just trading blows. MVP 0 and Surprise trading fastest lap back and forth. The Mercedes and the McLaren. We'll see if MVP 0 can... no, he wasn't able to get fastest lap that time. However, I tell you who was, is LCR Leopard, clearly on a charge. And like I mentioned earlier, he is on one of the fresher tires out of everybody. Reynolds did, in fact, come out in 11th position. He's got a pretty hefty gap to try and cut down to Team Vodka Shot up ahead, but he could certainly be a threat, and there is confirmation of just how fast that second Mercedes car is going as he sets the fastest lap of the race with the 129.0. We are still on board with Jason 97 F1. However, I am watching that gap between Leopard and Brown like a hawk, and actually they're just making their way into Brooklyn's. Nothing doing just there, but I think we could see in the closing stages of this race a 4-way battle for what is, again, basically 3rd position because of that 5-second time penalty on the McLaren of MVP 0.
Well, P1R Brown and Leopard both have got 3-second time penalties.
Oh, okay.
So they've both got 3 seconds. Langman and P9's got 3 seconds as well to his name. Just a quick one. Jason's got 2 warnings, so he's 1 away from a penalty. Obviously, he's going to push to try and take the glory and pass Evo. I mean, that would, as you mentioned earlier, go straight on the CV. So even if he gets a penalty, I don't think he'll care. He'll want to go attacking Evo. And look at him, as Leopard is down the inside, is he? On P1R Brown. And is he through? I think he is. As Surprise again pumps in the fastest lap of the race. And Leopard moves past, up into the top 6, ahead of P1R Brown, completing the move down into stall, using the DRS to perfection. textbook stuff, Justin, and that's what Jason will be looking to do on this lap as well.
Yep, so the Ferrari moves ahead of the Williams, both of those guys with 3-second time penalties, so that is essentially for position. And Jason still just following behind Evo, just taking that little bit tighter line through the left-hander, and then on the loud pedal through the kink. DRS open for the Haas driver, getting that slipstream as well. He's not quite on maximum deployment there. He drops it down, knowing that he's not going to be able to make the overtake into Brooklands. And it's, of course, going to be very difficult to try and make the overtake into Luffield, through Luffield, out of Luffield. Really, anything involving Luffield always very difficult, especially around the outside. And I don't think he's going to be able to make it happen here. He's on 4 for his deployment, drops it down actually for Copse, just 0.3 between the Haas and the Ferrari as they make their way into Maggots, through the right-hander, into Beckett's. And will this be his opportunity here, Andy?
I'm not too sure. I don't think it'll be on this occasion, but I have to say, I don't know what everyone else watching thinks as we got a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not too sure why, but he's gaining. Look at Jason. He's coming closer, but not on this occasion. I don't know what everyone else thinks, right? But well, we're supposed to be neutral in the commentary box, but never have I felt more rooting for an underdog. Come on, I'm saying in the most quietest way possible. As the car goes off the road there, who was that?
I think that was Pinecone, maybe?
Maybe another controller disconnect for him because as he sails off the racetrack down at the final corner. But look how close Jason is. Only 2 and a bit tenths behind Evo this time. He just needs to be perfect through the loop section, and he's going to get the opportunity he's been looking for. The British crowd will be cheering Jason on then. It's the German versus the Brit. Jason pushing through onto the Wellington Straight. He's gaining on Evo. Is he going to get there quickly enough? Not on this occasion, but surely Justin, if he sticks with him, he'll get a chance down into Stowe, just as Leopard did on P1 Brown a couple of laps ago. Go on, Jason.
Nice exit out of Luffield. Let's see if he can get him. No, he's going to be way too far back, even with the deployment being as high as it is for the Haas. You don't get much of a dirty air effect through Luffield, of course, because it's such a slow corner. But this is where he is definitely going to be feeling that dirty air from the Ferrari ahead as he drops it down a gear and then drops it down another gear, and then
really tidy. I thought it was really tidy through there, Justin. I thought Jason nailed that. This is his best chance yet. He was so clean going through the first part of the corner, and he set it up going down the straight. Here he goes round the outside of Stowe on Evo. He's going to come flying back on the exit. Now down into Vale and Club. Evo feels the need to defend. Jason round the outside. Go on, Jason, my son. He's done it.
Yes!
Evo still keeping his foot in there, and Evo holding on just as they cross the line to begin lap 22 out of 26. Great racing, great driving from the pair of them. They have so much respect for one another. Great driving from Jason. He tried his best, but Evo, the champ that he is, shows and holds firm for now. But surely it's a matter of time before Jason gets it done. On that last lap, Justin, he was absolutely superb through Maggots and Beckett's. Even in the dirty air was Jason. That's what gave him the opportunity. He won't get the chance this time as they go into Brooklands, but if he's as tidy as he was on the previous lap, going through Maggots and Beckett's, surely he'll get the chance to make that move on Evo. But the longer they battle, look who they're bringing into the fight. P1R Brown is there, as is Leopard. So this is going to get really tasty. MVP Zero, meanwhile, 4.3 up the road from these guys. He might just hold on to that podium spot. This is all to play for.
That would be incredible. And of course, as these guys battle, that's just going to improve MVP Zero's chances. It's brought Leopard into this fight. It's given MVP Zero. And what a story would that be? Surprise gets his first win. Evo finishes off of the podium. Jason makes the overtake. He's got the, we'll see if that happens. He's got the DRS. He's got the inside line. Surely this is the moment for the Haas driver as he breezes past the Ferrari into Stowe. He's got the job done. LCR Leopard wasn't there quite quick enough. He couldn't play that rear gunner role quite quickly enough for Evo, and Jason moves up into 4th position, and that is maybe really bad news for MVP Zero, who was pulling out that huge gap. It's 4.5 seconds at the moment, but clearly Jason's on a charge.
Yeah, but Evo's coming back. Look how close he is going down into Village. Jason ain't holding on yet. He ain't got the podium yet either. He needs to stay within half a second of Zero while defending from Evo. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Eat your heart out, Takuma Sato. What a move from Jason to put one over on someone like Evo. Incredible. It's a giant killer, a giant killing here at Silverstone, as Jason has surely moved himself into a chance of taking the podium. He's now ahead of Evo. He's got 2 lap fresher tyres and he's pulling away. Now the question is, can he stay within half a second of MVP Zero? The chat is going mental, by the way. They're loving it. They're loving it. Listen to the crowd here at Silverstone. They're on their feet. Jason moves past Evo up into what is now going to be a podium place. And I have to say, Justin, the driver of the day vote is open, but I don't think there's much point. I think I know who's going to get it.
Absolutely incredible stuff. I'm on board with Leopard at the moment to see if maybe he fancies his chances on Evo here. Of course, Evo, oh my gosh, and it looks like maybe Evo just let him through. I think maybe he's just not going to try to fight that at all, because Leopard just breezes past down the hangar straight into Stowe. Evo staying far left, really to the outside at the entrance of Stowe. Leopard breezes on through, up into 5th position. He does have that 3-second time penalty, keep in mind, as does P1R Brown, who is in the Williams just behind Evo. As we start lap 24, there's less than 3 laps of this race completed. I swear it was just a minute ago I was saying that we were at the halfway point of this British Grand Prix. We now got less than 3 laps remaining. Jason 97 F1 is actually closing in on MVP Zero. MVP Zero is actually very, very close to the DRS range of that Force India, just ahead of him as well, too. So we could see possibly some battling going on there, as Zero does have 1 lap fresher tires compared to that Force India, as Reynolds retires. Unfortunately, that alternate strategy not working out for him. That is going to move Matt 212 up into 11th position, just outside the points. That has got to be really frustrating for the other Williams driver of Matt 212, but P1R Brown, he's looking like he's going to... Oh, no! Oh, no! And that is, I believe, only the 3rd time in Season 16 that we've seen a time penalty for CRG Evo. And what that means now, Andy, is that he needs to get past Leopard if he wants to pick up 2 extra championship points.
Unbelievable. Not often we see that. He never had any warnings, by the way, when I checked earlier on. That was only a few laps ago, maybe 1 actually he had. Incredible. Evo, it just fell apart for him, and he drops now to a position where he actually has to go and overtake Leopard, or it's going to be 6th out of 11. Incredible how it's going to pan out here for him. Lap 25 out of 26. By the way, Jason is still only 4.5 seconds ahead of Zero. He might lose the position to Leopard, that's okay, but the problem is he could go 5 seconds behind Zero by battling with Leopard. So Jason ain't saving the podium yet. By defending this position, he's going to drop 5 seconds back. That's the issue. 4.7 is now the gap. He can let Leopard go. That's not the problem. It's about fighting it and losing the 5 seconds to Zero. Leopard on the inside. Easy's past Jason. It's now all about whether Jason stays within 5 seconds of Zero, because remember, Leopard also has a time penalty. Incredible.
At the moment, he is outside of that 5-second range, only just by about 0.2 of a second. He really needed to not get held up by Leopard. That is going to be the difference between a podium and 4th position for the Haas driver Jason 97 F1, who has yet to pick up a penalty so far in this race, as you would expect. He is one of those clean drivers that we've come to expect that type of driving from him. He does pick up the DRS. He's several car lengths behind the Ferrari. Let's see if he's going to be able to get close enough. I don't think he is. No, yeah, Jason, he's not a dive bomber. He's not going to send one up the inside at Stowe when he's a couple of car lengths back. White flag this time by as we're going to be into the final lap of this British Grand Prix, and it is extremely close between MVP Zero and Jason 97 F1 because of that 5-second time penalty for the McLaren driver after making a mistake into the pit stops. Final lap of this British Grand Prix, and I have no idea what's going to happen.
Who's going to get that final podium place? It's a watch on the times. I feel that Jason has to do something because Leopard doesn't have the pace at the moment to stick with Zero. Oh, it's in the balance. Is Jason going to get this podium or not? Leopard's defending, and the more he goes like this, the more certain it's going to be for MVP Zero. I think Zero's going to do it. Jason's going to be brought up to the podium. I'll tell you now, he is in control of the driver of the day vote at the moment, but that could slip away. People might start voting for Zero. I've already cast my vote. I've already went for Jason, Justin. Surprise, looks like he's going to win his first ever race in AOR. Can you believe it's his first ever win? I certainly can't. But finally, he's going to break that record. But the big question is, can Jason get within 5 seconds of Zero, which currently...
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think he can. Justin, here comes surprise.
Surprise is going to be, he's going to win his home race. I can't believe it. It is a Cinderella story for Veloce Surprise. I'm keeping an eye on that gap between Jason and Leopard as well, too. It's about 2/10 on that hanger straight, and there it is, the win for Veloce Surprise. It's not second, it's not a DNF, it's the win. It's second position for OMG, it's Joe, and we're waiting for the final drivers, but it looks like Zero's got the gap, but no, did he have a 3-second? He must have. He must have had a 3-second time penalty in addition to the 5 seconds, and Jason does get that podium position in the end. Absolutely incredible race from all of these guys. You can see them in formation. Leopard, Evo, Brown, all running in very close proximity to one another. Fantastic race. We were a bit worried. The gaps were getting a little big there for a little bit. We were a bit worried that maybe the race was going a bit stale, but we could not have been further from the truth. Surprised, though, with that dominant victory. We knew it was going to come at some point for the Brit, and he's done it at his home race, and I can only imagine that is the first of many, many wins for Veloce Surprise. And look at them, they're nose to tail into Brooklands on the cool down lap. Absolutely incredible stuff. In the end, Jason gets that podium. MVP Zero, a hell of a drive. I mean, you gotta give it up for MVP Zero. Some fantastic battling, fantastic drive. If not for that 5-second penalty, if not for that small mistake going into the pits, he would be sitting on the podium for the second time this season. But it is again Jason 97 F1 with a lack of penalties, pulls it out of the bag, surprises everybody, and gets that final podium position. But you know, maybe someone that we didn't talk about that much in the race, who I think also deserves a huge shout out, is OMG, it's Joe. Because what a result in second position. He really wasn't pressuring Surprise. There was always that kind of 4-second gap, but at the same time, he wasn't losing time either. So an absolutely incredible drive. All three of those guys thoroughly deserve to be up there. And if I'm honest, I think there's about 5 or 6 drivers that deserve to be up there today.
Incredible, Justin. It was a day of firsts. A first win for Veloci Surprise in AOR. It's incredible it's his first with someone with so much talent. A first podium, I think, for Jason, I would say, or first, certainly in recent times, for Jason, given that he's a veteran. But unbelievable. What a race. What a performance from him to finish third. Joe came from 5th to finish second, by the way. Zero came from 8th to finish 4th. I have to say, I think the voting is going to go fully in favour of Jason, but Zero deserves a huge mention as well. He really does to come there, as you mentioned earlier on, Justin, coming home in 4th. But wow, Evo down in 6th. Who would have thought it? That ain't a misprint. That is genuinely what has happened. Incredible. What a race.
I can't believe
Joe is waiting to be interviewed, Justin.
Yep, let's go ahead and grab Joe, since he has picked up another podium in this season. That is now your 3rd podium, Joe. Huge congratulations. It wasn't a super exciting race for you, though, was it? I mean, compared to some of the other people out there.
No, not really. I wasn't that confident, let's say, going into the race, because I hadn't done much practice at all, really. But I knew if I kept it clean at the start, I could stick within DRS of the guys in front, which is what I did. And to be honest, I was quite gutted when Simon went off, because that meant I didn't have anyone to follow, which is what I wanted to be doing. So from then on, I just tried to make sure I didn't get any warnings. Just went keep my tyres in good shape. Yes, Andy. Tires were fine for once. Yeah. And
can you shed any light? Can you shed any light on what happened with Simon, actually? Because I think you might be the only person that saw it.
Yes. So basically, he out of Chapel, I think it is. He went on the grass and just lost the rear end.
Gotcha.
It's quite easy to do because I did the exact same thing. The next lap, just somehow didn't keep it. I didn't do it as badly, let's say. So yeah.
Well, huge congratulations on a 3rd podium this season and a second place as well, too. So, I mean, that is an absolutely huge result, and very, very well done. Incredible qualifying. You said you didn't put in a ton of practice. Were you surprised to be as far up the grid as you were?
Yes, considering the times I was doing in qualifying was my PBs. I didn't get anywhere near that in the little practice I did. So yeah, I was quite surprised that I could get some decent laps in.
Well, again, just massive congratulations. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to talk to Surprise or Jason, the other two podium finishers. Your race winner, of course, being Valache Surprise, picking up his first win. Third podium for OMG It's Joe. First podium of the season for Jason 97 F1. He's scored points in every single race. Literally every single race has Jason, but that is his first podium in season 16. But huge congratulations go out to those guys. And I can actually confirm for you guys the driver of the day. Do you want to take a guess at who it is, Andy?
Well, I would take a guess, but I've been informed as well, Justin. So no, I'm not going to guess. But what I did here is every single vote, bar one, went to this particular person. So that's how one-sided it was. But go on, Justin, announce it.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a driver of the day vote that's been as dominant as this. But Jason 97 F1 is your driver of the day for round 10 of season 16 Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 League on the Xbox platform. Huge congratulations to him for his first podium of the season and also for getting driver of the day. Extremely well deserved, but really the top three with no penalties. And again, we've seen it time and time again, Andy. And today, once more, that has made all the difference.
Absolutely. Jason, I mean, last week, I think it was last week as well, he shot right up the order without any penalties and shot right up into the podium today. And as I said, if he passed Evo and got himself onto the podium, I would deliver the champagne myself. So I'm going to have a long night ahead traveling down south or wherever he stays to deliver that champagne. So I better head off.
I've also just realized, just to get the patriotism going for all of you guys, that the podium was all British. Not a single German driver on the podium. So everybody can feel very happy about that one. But wow, absolutely incredible race. Really enjoyed that one. Field was spread out for a little bit there, but then it tightened right back up and it became an absolute cracker. Really, really enjoyed that one. We had no idea how it was going to finish there. And one more time, just huge congratulations to Surprise, Joe, and Jason for an absolutely incredible race. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. That has been round 10 of season 16. Round 11 will be coming in 2019, I believe, because we're going to be off for a couple of weeks due to the holidays. So make sure you guys join us in a few weeks' time for round 11 and the German Grand Prix. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Christmas.